Hi everyone, it's Evangeline here at etrailer, and today we'll be taking a look at our Inno Roof Rack system with the 57-inch long crossbars and the Inno Through feet for raised rails right here on our 2022 Nissan Pathfinder. So you have your Pathfinder and you're ready for adventure. This is a pretty good all-around vehicle for all kinds of different situations. Now, what we actually had before was we had a factory roof rack with no overhang. So I took that out and replaced it with this one because I wanted something where I could maximize my crossbar space. So if you want to carry your roof boxes, your roof baskets, your roof mounted bike racks, or even your kayaks, something like this will be very helpful. So these are the 57-inch long crossbars, which are actually my preferred fit because, and you can go shorter and you can even go a little longer for your crossbars. I think this is a perfect balance where you have a good amount of overhang for those cool accessories. You have your accessories sitting out farther, that way it's easier to reach them, but you still have that low profile, sleek look that the Inno Roof Rack is famous for. So let's talk about that overhang and take some measurements. So measuring for overhang, that's going to be from the end of the tower to right before the end cap, and ours sits at around 3 inches. So that's a good amount of overhang, so your items can sit out further at the edge. Now if you are carrying kayak load assist carriers like the Thule Elevator or the Yakima Showdown, that requires a specific amount of overhang. You might actually have to get the longer bars for those. Let's take a look at some roof clearances too. And there's gonna be 2 measurements that you wanna look at. The first is gonna be the distance from the top of the roof to the bottom of the crossbar. And right where the roof is at the highest, it sits at 2 3/4 inches. So that's how much space you have for your accessories. So if you have clamps that go around your crossbars, that's how much you want to think about. If you have, let's say, U-bolts with wing nuts, this is a pretty good clearance there, so it's going to be pretty easy to tighten those down. The second roof clearance we're going to take measurements is the height added to the top of the roof. So measuring from the top of the roof to the top of our crossbar, that sits at 3.5 inches. So that's going to be where your cargo and accessories are going to sit. So if you have skis and snowboards, they're going to sit on your crossbars at that height. If you have extra tall bindings, you're going to make sure you have an accessory that gives you a little extra height. That way you don't hit your roof with your cargo. Let's talk about crossbar spread and weight capacity. So we have 165 pounds weight capacity. Remember, add up your cargo, your towers, your roof rack, and total that up. Make sure you don't exceed your Pathfinder's weight capacity. The next is a crossbar spread. Since you have raised rails, it's up to you for where you want to put your towers. If your crossbar spread is required to be a certain thing by a certain roof box, then you can adjust accordingly. Where I have it set right now is about 28.25 inches apart, and that's going to be an easy to use crossbar spread since we have it set in our fixed mounting points. What I really like about this roof rack is that the keys are included. So you have these lock cores, one on each tower, and then you have the access to the lever, so no tools required to install this roof rack. So these are the Inno Aero Crossbars, and what that means is compared to the traditional round and square crossbars, if you had any of those, you would remember how noisy they were driving down the highway. This helps with that noise issue, so you're gonna have less wind drag, wind noise compared to those older crossbars. Now the way this is designed is you have your taller portion in the front, your tapered portion towards the end, and when you take off that shiny end cap, you have access to the T-slot system. And I really like how Inno did this because all you need to do is push down on that wind strip, slide your accessory through, and then it fits around that accessory. So compared to other roof racks where you have to cut those up and then you have to get extras, this makes it a lot easier to use. One downside is that this end cap does not lock, so try to get a locking T-track accessory. This kit includes everything you need to install it, and it's a pretty simple process. Now, some things that are not included but I use are going to be a tape measure to make sure my overhang is correct, as well as a stool just to get myself that extra height to tighten things down. Now let's take a look at that process. So the install process is going to be super simple as long as you know what parts go where. So you're going to have a tab on the inside of your towers, and that tab is supposed to line up with the tray on the inside of your crossbars. Once that fits into place, it's just a matter of pushing that tower out. That's secure. You're ready to put this onto your raised rails. Just make sure you have your crossbar facing the correct way. So since you have raised rails, you can actually put your towers wherever you want. I put them right between the fixed mounting points on our raised rails. Get them into place, get this strap up and over and into the tower to secure it. Then adjust your overhang, making sure it's even on each side before you tighten it down. So you don't need any tools to tighten this down. We just have a lever at the end, and that's what you use to rotate and get your tension in there. So that squeezes this strap around your raised rail. So your final step is going to be to put your end caps in. So first you have your tower end cap that goes in and secures. Then you have your crossbar end cap that pops right in. Once you've locked all 4 towers and you've popped all end caps into the end of the crossbars, then that's it for the install process. You're ready to load this up and hit the road. So my personal thoughts about this system is I'm actually a really big fan of this particular setup because we have the Inno Through feet, so you have that nice sleek look of the end caps. You have the included locks, and you have all that extra overhang, making it easier to reach whatever accessories you have mounted to your Pathfinder, especially since your Pathfinder is kind of a big vehicle. Now, if you are carrying those load assist kayak carriers, you are going to need the slightly longer crossbars. Another brand that you might be interested in, which has a more sturdy look, is going to be the Inno Roof Rack system. I actually installed the 59-inch long crossbars, so that has even longer overhang. Definitely check out those different options right here at etrailer.com. But right here, this is one of my favorite setups for your Nissan Pathfinder. This was a look at the Inno Roof Rack system with the 57-inch long crossbars, the Inno Through feet for raised rails on your 2022 Nissan Pathfinder.